Hey everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of the Deep Cuts on Classic Album series. Today we're looking at the 1971 release from The Who titled Who's Next? And of course, this is the deluxe version. There's the full cover right there. Kind of not only a classic album, but a classic cover. You know, trying to mimic the monolith here from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And, you know, the guys obviously have all just peed on the structure. You know, pretty cool album cover there. Very, very iconic. So this is, you know, long labeled by many people, and I'm probably one of them, as one of the legendary, you know, Desert Island Disc albums that really top to bottom is just so strong. It's got, you know, probably two, arguably three massive songs on here that if you've never don't know them or never heard them, you've probably been living under the monolith, right, or living under a rock, because there's really no way that you can't know these songs, whether you've heard them on, you know, the radio or satellite or seen the band play, or, you know, they're out there, right? They have been for years. So let's go through. So, of course, the format of this show is we're going to kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive into the albums and look at some of those songs a little bit more than we normally would, because most people, when they talk of these classic albums, they talk about the hits, right? So we'll note the hits, but this is more about talking about those other songs. So, of course, the album kicks off with Baba O'Riley, a legendary tune. I mean, this album is very notable also, not only because it's an amazingly put together and well-written batch of songs, but also the real first time the band would start dabbling in using synthesizers. And it's also one of the, you know, first albums to really start utilizing synthesizers at the time, as far as like mainstream rock acts. And, you know, also a little bit of history here too, in addition, is this album kind of morphed from the Lifehouse project, which was another kind of, you know, remember the band was just coming off of doing Tommy not that long before. And that, you know, the Tommy album came out, huge concept album, big hit, really broke the band. They started, you know, playing shows all over the place. They did Woodstock. So Tommy really took them on like a good year and a half, 2-year almost journey, right? That just kind of became larger than life. But by this point, Pete Townsend, obviously his creative juices were flowing, so he had in mind this another concept piece called the Lifehouse project, which was, you know, kind of like this whole story, wanted to be a play, you know, like almost like a Broadway style thing. You know, that kind of all fell apart, right? But he took a lot of the musical ideas and funneled them into the Who's next album. So, and which, if you get this deluxe edition, it kind of puts it all together, so to speak. But anyway, so Baba O'Riley, an anthem to end all anthems. You know, it's a good heavy rock tune. It's got the bubbling synthesizer going on, and, you know, at the end it's got the fiddle solo, and it's just a really great song. Bargain is a great song. All right, memorable chorus. I mean, Pete Townsend was so amazing at writing just these ultra memorable rock songs. The best I ever had. Call that a bargain. The best I ever had. It's just so memorable. Again, one of those deeper cuts that all the hardcore fans know and love. Maybe some of you casual fans might not have heard it, but you should. It's a great one. Love Ain't for Keeping. Another really endearing song with just an amazing chorus. It's just such a memorable song. And then in comes My Wife, which is really kind of the oddball here, because it's a John Entwistle song, right? So he wrote it, he sings it. But it kind of fits. And I think Entwistle had, you know, maybe not all of the songs, but a good majority of the songs were a bit heavier than some of the material that Townsend was writing. So My Wife, again, it's a kind of a black comedy. The lyrics are really kind of tongue-in-cheek and really coy and interesting, but a nice driving rocker and a great vocal from Entwistle, who was also a pretty good singer. The Song Is Over is probably the lighter tune on this album. It's just kind of majestic. It flows. A really good pop song, and nice vocals from Pete here. who also another really good singer. You know, you had Entwistle, who would do like one song an album usually, and you know, sing a vocal, and Daltrey the main singer. But you know, Townsend also sang a good amount of stuff too. So Song Is Over, another great song. Getting in Tune, fantastic song. Again, kind of a I don't know, just a jumpy, bouncy, upbeat track, which I always really liked. And then Going Mobile, which again features some great singing from Townsend, and a really kind of engaging song that just, it's playful. It's got that kind of, the rhythms are kind of like really upbeat, got a lot of grooves, bouncy, crisp guitar work. Really, really good song. Really good tune. And then, of course, Behind Blue Eyes, which one of the three probably most notable songs on this album, with an amazing vocal from Daltrey. No one knows what it's like to be hated, right? Just a really awesome lyric from Townsend, a heartfelt lyric from Townsend that's perfectly brought forward by Daltrey. Really, really good song. One of my favorite Who tunes, actually. And then, of course, it ends with Won't Get Fooled Again, the big, epic, raucous number to close out the album. Easily the most famous song on this album, which you go into the dictionary, you look up rock anthem, and they'll probably list a handful of them. I'm sure Won't Get Fooled Again is going to be there. And again, probably one of the most legendary songs from Townsend. You know, Won't Get Fooled Again, Pinball Wizard, My Generation, Can't Explain, Bob O'Reilly. You know, there's like this core group of Who songs written by Townsend that are just like, you know, just as good or close to as good as anything, you know, the Stones or the Beatles put out. Just that from that time period, just legendary songs. So, you know, that's basically the album right there. And top to bottom, just really, really strong, right? But some of those songs, like in between the hits, are arguably as good, if not better, than some of those hit tunes, at least in my opinion. Now, if you're to go to get the deluxe edition, like I have here, you get the New York Record Plant session tunes, which, you know, again, some additional songs like "Baby Don't You Do It," "Getting in Tune," "Pure and Easy," which is a great song, "Loving for Keeping Again," "Behind Blue Eyes," another version of "Won't Get Fooled Again," and then on disc 2, you get the Young Vic concert. Okay, which was recorded originally, the Lifehouse stuff. And here you got Love Ain't for Keeping, Pure and Easy, Young Man Blues, Time is Passing, Behind Blue Eyes, I Don't Even Know Myself, Too Much of Anything, Getting in Tune, Bargain, Water. Water is such a great, heavy song. And then My Generation, I'm a Road Runner, Naked Eye, and Won't Get Fooled Again. So if you want the kind of whole story behind this album with, you know, the history with the Lifehouse and all that kind of stuff, I urge you to pick up this deluxe edition because it kind of ties everything in together. There's a great booklet in here that describes the whole thing, and well worth it. But, you know, more importantly, deep cuts on Who's Next, Bargain, and my highlights. My Wife, Bargain, God, they're all good. Loving for Keeping, The Song Is Over, Getting in Tune, Going Mobile, all fantastic. Great performances all around, just near perfect songwriting and musicianship. Dynamite. You know, I haven't talked about what a great guitar player Townsend always was. Not really a fantastic lead player per se, not like some of the other virtuosos that were out there, but a very tasty lead player. But mainly it was the rhythms and the chords that he used. Just a spectacular, well-rounded guitar player, and this is like a perfect album for him. You know, it's funny when you think of the Who. They had a string of really great albums. You know, their early stuff is good for what it is, but it was like, you know, Tommy and Who's Next and Quadrophenia. I mean, man, you know, the Who by Numbers, just fantastic albums. And I think the only thing that I always wish is that Townsend had a couple more albums in him in that kind of time period, because they, you know, throughout like the mid and late 70s, they were a little bit sporadic. And then, of course, you know, as the 80s wore on, they would put out, you know, a couple albums here and there, but nowhere near the quality of those late 60s to mid 70s albums. So it's probably like, you know, from Tommy till, you know, Who Are You is not quite as strong, but, you know, some magical years there. I just wish we got more releases out of them, you know. But anyway, that's our deep cuts on classic albums for today. The Who's Next, their fifth album from 1971. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube. So we'll see you real soon with lots more stuff, guys. Take care. Bye.